Okay, in the last video I did of this, I was just rambling, so I want to make sure I get to the point here. My hat's off because I was just washing the car. My hat's a bit sweaty and I don't like that. So, what I'm trying to get at is the question of why is like really underrated, guys. Why do you do the things you do? What are you pursuing in life? Why? Why do you wake up? You know, who are you? Why are you here? Who put you here? So many different questions. As kids, we always ask these questions. Why is the sky blue? How does that work? How does this work? What's that? What's this? Like Jazz Skeleton. But when we get older, we just kind of stop asking questions. We just kind of accept it, and move on with life. But I don't know why you would stop asking questions, especially if the answers you have aren't really satisfying. You should be thinking uh, about those more difficult concepts. I think regularly. I can always have trouble saying that word, but often, especially if you haven't found the answer. Sometimes it can be really strenuous, because you just don't have the answer yet, and you're still looking, and can be a little bit uncomfortable. But I want to make sure, like, am I doing the right thing I should be doing? Am I going towards the right goal in life? Um, why am I here, and where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to keep on going? So many different questions you have to really consider. You can always just accept, well, this is how it is. We're an NPC. That's NPC activity. And we don't do that. We want to think thoroughly. Um, so that's my main point. Now, if you'd allow me to ramble, so if you just want to cut off the video there, I take that encouragement. Just ask more questions. Ask why more often. Have at it. For me, that why has led back to, um, first off, how do we get here? It's a good question, um, because I didn't just create myself. I came from somewhere, and how did everything even come to existence? Um, and that's made me a theist, meaning there is a God, who put everything into motion. And then the question of, well, who is that God? What is that God? What am I supposed to do with this life? Where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to be? Um, a question of purpose. Sometimes people just don't question their purpose, and they, you can tell. People should think about that, um, because it's a good duty to have. That's kind of funny. Um, the animals don't have to worry about this. The animals are just animals. I've never seen no chimpanzee just kind of think like, you know what I mean? Maybe I haven't seen no philosopher chimpanzee, and if that's something only humans can do, that's pretty significant. So, what do we make of that? Well, I want to make sure I'm doing the right things. So, using reasoning and logic, what's the best answer? And for me, without making this video into a whole different thing, is at least to Christianity. It really does. Um, that Jesus was exactly who he said he was and did exactly what he said he would. And yeah, so everything's going to be based off of that. Um, so my whole worldview is then formed from that. But, if you talk to someone who's maybe an atheist, um, where do you get your why? What is your why? Um, how did you get here? Um, where are you going? What are we supposed to do? And I don't want to pull a, was it Kierkegaard's like leap of faith and just say, well, it's better to believe, so we'll just start there. Or something like Pascal's way and just be like, well, odds are in our favor, so you might as well. But like, let's use reasoning. Let's really think about this. And I don't want to be, you know, a Christian just because I think the answers are warming, you know what I mean, are comfortable. If atheism is true, then I'd much rather be in the truth, like the truth at all costs. I think I made a video on that. Truth at all costs. Um, but pursue why all the way down. Socratic method there. Just why? Why do I do this? Why do I do this? I'm getting a degree. Why? Because I want to have a good job. Why? Because I want to provide for my family. Why? Because I want to have a family. Why? Because it's an interpersonal relationship and it's something that I personally desire. Okay, great. Um, how much money? Why this career choice? Because it makes the most money. Is that all you want? Just more money. And there's so many more questions to have and to reflect in yourself. Ask why. Why do you do the things you do? And I think that's become a really freeing experience once you get to the bottom of it. I really encourage it. So again, this is not an in-depth video. This is just to kind of get the thinking caps on, get the gears turning, and think about your why. Who are you? What are you doing? How'd you get here? Why? It could be a worthwhile brainstorming session. But for me, you know, my why is going to be rooted into who Christ was and what He said. So that's my encouragement to y'all. I love you guys, and I got another video. I'll click that back to this.